Good evening, Kalyani ma'am.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, ma'am. Welcome to our session, ma'am. Happy to have you here.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Myself, Akshay Lakshmi from the core team.
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am. Uh, yes, ma'am. Can you try sharing your screen, ma'am?
I'll not be able to share, I think, because there's no current and I'm on cell phone only. So my PPT is on my laptop.
Okay, ma'am. The thing is, I did not receive your mail yet.
Yeah. It was not uploading because there's no internet, no.
Okay. Okay. Is it okay if you can present it without the PPT, ma'am?
Yeah, I can do it. I have no
Okay.
issues. Others will not
Okay.
be able to see. I'll be able to see my laptop,
Okay. Okay, ma'am.
but I won't be able to show it to others. Right?
Okay, ma'am. You
Okay,
can explain the
I'll
PPT.
do one
Uh,
second. Once I connect, I'll mail it to you. Okay.
okay, ma'am. So we wait for a few more minutes for other participants also to join now.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll wait for 2 more minutes, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Veera sir?
Okay, only.
Yes, sir, can you start the record?
Yes, I've begin the record now. It's getting record now. If it is okay, I can do the welcome and you do like introduction part.
Sir, Chandra ma'am will be doing the introduction. Kindly do the words.
So will I go with the welcome part then?
Yes, sir.
And the
Yes.
class
So let me know like when it can be done. So.
video நான் ஆன் பண்ணுமா
Kindly confirm with the Alan ma'am.
I'm sorry, come again.
Yes, sir, you can start, I guess. Kalani ma'am, is it okay if we start?
உங்களுக்கு பிபிடியும் தெரியாது வீடியோவும் தெரியாது.
Dr. Kalyani ma'am, good evening. Ma'am, do we can begin the session, ma'am? Kalyani ma'am?
Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Do we can begin the session, ma'am? Okay, fine, ma'am. Okay, good evening, one and all. Good evening. Myself, Veera, I'm from the core team. I welcome the sincere participants and also our today's speaker, behalf of Department of Psychology, the American College, Madurai, and our core team head, Dr. Suresh Kumar, and the entire our core team members, mental health webinar series, and the associate institutions, Madras School of Social Work, Chennai, International Center for Clinical Psychology and Psychotherapy, Germany, MS Chalamuthu Institute of Mental Health and Rehabilitation, Madurai, Redbond Education and Psychological Research Center, Madurai, and also Psycho-Oncological Association. Behalf of
Yes,
all,
sir.
I welcome our participant and speaker for this 216th session, Stress Management and Resilience. For that, to enlighten us, we have Dr. Kalyani Kenneth ma'am, who is actually a professor from Madras School of Social. I'm sorry. Yes, Madras School of Social Work, Chennai. So before hand over to today's speaker, I request Dr. Chandra ma'am to give a introduction part as well general instruction to all the participants. And one more note, like this, the entire session is getting recorded. Thank you so much.
Hello, Veera sir. Am I audible?
Yes, you are very much audible, ma'am.
Okay. So I'm happy to introduce today's speaker of the session, Dr. Kalyani Kenneth, who is currently working as an assistant professor in the Department of Counseling Psychology at MSSW, Chennai. She has also been working as an associate professor in Rajiv Gandhi National Institute of Youth and Development, Sri Perumbudur, over 8 years. And along with her PhD in psychology, she has also got her B.Ed and M.Ed in social studies. She has also been working as assistant professor with MSSW, and she has been the head of Department of Psychology at MGR Janaki College for Women. She has also been an assistant professor at SIAT JBA's College for Women, Tenampet. She has been participating in many seminars, conferences, and workshops. She has got over 30 publications in national and international journals. So she has been recently publishing her articles on relationship of perceived interparental conflict, on loneliness, self-esteem, and attachment style of children. So she has got a versatile experience in the field of psychology. So today I welcome you along with the team, ma'am, to have your session on stress management and resilience. Thank you so much for being here, and the floor is to you, ma'am.
Kalani ma'am?
Hello, Veera sir, is everything okay?
I guess ma'am has got disconnected. I will contact.
Okay.
Here, Dr. Today's speaker, hopes he's not there. Can someone call her? She's not here. Kalyani Kenneth,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. Yes, sir. I'm contacting her.
Oh, okay, sure. Participants, sorry for the delay, and we will make sure to begin the session on time. The upcoming session, we will make sure to begin on time.
Sorry, participant. The resource person is facing network issues. We are trying to contact her. We will get back in 1 or 2 minutes. Thank you. We have contacted the resource person, Kalyani ma'am. She is joining in a minute. Thank you for patiently waiting, participants. Thank you so much.
Dr. Veena, ma'am, can you share something about this? I mean, the session for a few minutes until the ma'am has joined.
Hello, sir. கேக்குதா?
Yes, ma'am. Kalyani, ma'am, கேக்குது, ma'am. Yes, we can hear, ma'am. கேக்குது, ma'am.
Sir, good evening. கேக்குதுங்களா?
Good evening, ma'am. நல்லா கேக்குது, ma'am. It's audible.
ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணிடலாமா?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We are waiting for you.
ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணிக்கலாம்ல? இல்ல ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணிக்கலாம். Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Shall we start, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Please, ma'am.
Yeah. Anybody is going to introduce or anything like that, or shall we straight away go to the thing? I'll introduce myself.
We have done everything, ma'am. All the welcome and introduction part.
Okay,
Introducing.
okay.
Yes,
Okay, sorry. There was some connection. This was what is a current failure.
thank you.
It just happened to come now. So I'll just share my slides and then we will start off, right?
Okay.
Just see and tell me if you're able to view my slides.
Yes, ma'am. Maybe some technical issue and she has left again. She may join in a few minutes. Sorry. Yes, ma'am, I can see your PPT, stress management and resilience.
Veera sir,
Current fail. Yeah.
yes, ma'am,
Now,
kindly go ahead, ma'am.
now only I can, now we can see your PPT and you're audible now.
Okay, okay. So we'll go ahead, right?
Yes, ma'am,
Good
sure.
evening to one and all present over here. I am Dr. Kalyani Kenneth. I don't know if I were able to hear to your presentations or introduction about me. So I am working as a professor in the Department of Counseling Psychology, Madras School of Social Work, Egmore. And I have nearly 20 years of teaching experience and have presented and published a lot of national and international journal research papers, right? So today I would like to thank the organizers, Mr. Dr. Suresh Kumar and Dr. Subhashri, my colleague, who have given me this opportunity to present before yourselves on this August gathering during this pandemic time and especially immediately after Deepavali. So I wish all the participants, those who are connected through the webinar session and the link, a very happy Deepavali. And the topic that I would be discussing with you is stress management and resilience. Stress management. Stress is something which is inevitable. It is a physical, mental, or emotional response to events which occur or cause mental or physical tension. Stress is a part of everyone's life, but it should not be greater than an individual's capacity to handle stress. When the stress becomes too much and when the individual is unable to bear the stress, then it becomes a concern which needs to be handled in an appropriate manner. Because we are all connected with this mental health webinar session, and if the individual's capacity to handle the stress is going to become an issue for himself or herself, then it would definitely lead to imbalance in our mental health. In such a case, it will cause mental and physical imbalances in the person. Stress should work as a productive power and not as a restrictive or restriction, which can cause physical and mental imbalances in an individual. As we know, we are all striving through and thriving through the current situation of pandemic. The initial onset of pandemic was also causing stress to us. When we reach the peak, it definitely has caused stress to us physically, psychologically, as well as socially. And now we assume that the pandemic is reducing or coming down, but still the stress is present in all of us. The stress could be in various forms, like physical. This happens when the body suffers due to stressful situation. Symptoms of physical stress are headache, tension in the neck, forehead, and shoulder muscles. Long periods of stress can lead to digestive problems like ulcers, insomnia, lack of sleep, fatigue, tiredness, high blood pressure, nervousness, and heart problems. To be more specific, I would say that almost at least one or the other symptoms is present in all of us, those who are attending the webinar and those who are not attending the webinar also have either of the symptoms existing in them. I would in fact tell that headache has become a common symptoms, and all of us knowingly or unknowingly are undergoing the stress, which is physical stress, which is become a part of our life. And dealing with this stress is quite difficult, and still we are able to cope with it. The second kind of stress is emotional. These happen when stress affects the mind. Symptoms of emotional stress are anxiety, anger, depression, frustration, overreaction to problems, memory loss, etc. Anxiety is a response to loss, failure, or fear of unknown. Anger is the response to frustration or social stress. And depression is the response to upsetting events like death of a loved one, illness, or failure. I would again emphasize over here, during the pandemic and before and after the pandemic also, people did have the emotional symptoms like anxiety, anger, depression, and frustration, and so and so. But at the time of the pandemic, due to the death of corona, people have become more anxious and depressed. So dealing with these are also equally essential. The third type of stress is psychological stress. For a long period of time may cause psychological stress. When a stress is being in an individual for a long period, concurrently, continuously, consecutively, then it leads to psychological problems. Symptoms of psychological stress are social isolation, phobias, compulsive behavior, eating disorders, and night terrors or nightmares, what we say. Yes, again, you would have experienced all these symptoms. No doubt, we are all human beings and we do have psychological symptoms like stress and social isolation and fear, right? Because of the pandemic, because of the stress that we are undergoing, and because of the fear that we have in our mind that we might get affected by the pandemic or the coronavirus, we are trying to keep ourselves isolated. Though we talk about social distancing, at times you see that people within the homes are also kept socially isolated from each other. And automatically the signs and symptoms like cold cough, which is a common symptom, is existing in most of us, and we tend to get into the compulsive behavior of washing hands and wearing the mask, which has become a part and parcel of our life these days. So the psychological stress is existing in all of us, and some of us, because of the psychological stress, have developed the symptom of eating disorder, either eating too much or not eating at all out of fear. So eating disorders have also become a part of our life. What would be the consequences of stress? Again, stress shows itself in three ways. Physiological symptoms are there, psychological symptoms, and behavioral symptoms. The physiological symptoms. Earlier, stress was mainly considered as physiological symptom because specialists in the health and medical sciences did research on the topic. But the physiological symptoms of stress have very little importance to students of organizational behavior. Now, stress could be physically found in one and all of us through our pain in the neck, our shoulder pain, back pain, and other forms of pain in the physical parts of our body. The psychological symptoms are job-related stress can cause job-related dissatisfaction. Job dissatisfaction is the simplest and most obvious psychological effect of stress. The less control people have on their field of work, the more the stress and dissatisfaction. That means that it is again a part and parcel of our life. We need to work, we need to go for job, we need to earn to lead our livelihood. And when we are not satisfied with the job or the kind of work that we are going through, then it is very likely that we would fall in the dissatisfaction category, and it itself would lead us to stress. When we are not happy with the nature and kind of job that we are doing, we are likely to get into stress, or due to dissatisfaction, we are not able to contribute much effectively to the work that we are doing. So that itself could cause psychological stress to us. What are the behavioral symptoms? Behavioral symptoms which are related to behavior are, stress symptoms which are related to behavior are changes in productivity, absence, turnover changes in eating habits, increased smoking or use of alcohol, sleep disorders, restlessness, and n number of symptoms. Now, the behavioral symptoms is observable, which is seen by majority of the people around us. Even at home, when there is stress, and when we tend to become very lethargic, we are not interested in the day-to-day routine life, then we tend to show the symptoms, behavioral symptoms of stress. And some of them we would have already seen, and the news has been flashing number of times that the increased number of smoking and alcoholic people have become more during the pandemic period. Though it was a common issue existing even before pandemic, during pandemic it had become even more exposed due to various other environmental factors also. But the behavioral symptom was obviously seen by people around us. So the behavioral symptoms of stress are these. Like use stress or motivate, right? Now stress, as we know, is inevitable, it cannot be avoided, and all of us have to undergo stress as it comes in each one of our lives. There could be two major kinds of stress, namely eustress and distress. As we were discussing in the earlier slide, distress is when an individual is unable to cope with the stress, or it is becoming more than his capacity, then it is called as distress. Now, a little bit of stress is very essential in all of our lives in order to keep us moving and let us motivate us. So it is otherwise called as eustress. Eustress is nothing but motivators in individual lives. Stress provides direction, motivation, and excitement to individuals to push themselves more towards achieving their goals. Now, if we are not going to be motivated, then we will not be able to achieve our goals. So, a little bit of stress, which can push us, which can keep us moving through our pathway in order to reach our goals, is very essential in every one of our lives. Only when the stress is going to become not able to manage the stress, then it becomes a matter of question. Now, managing stress should be given importance rather than remove it, because, as I was emphasizing, a smaller level or lesser level of stress is always effective and it will keep us moving. So we don't have to worry about having stress. We should have stress if we need to keep moving in the direction of achieving our goals. But at the same time, we should be able to have importance and give importance to the stress and keep it under our control rather than letting it boss over us or letting the stress control us. When the stress starts controlling us, then only it leads to mental health issues. So the aim is to find the suitable level of stress that can be handled effectively. Now again, each individual is unique, as we all being psychologists and psychiatrists. We know that each individual are unique and everybody's threshold level is different. So each one may not be able to take the similar kind of stress, but for some, handling two activities at the same time could cause stress. For some, handling more than five activities at the same time could cause stress. So the stress is depending upon the individual level, it is to be handled effectively. Two issues can be taken up and handled effectively by an individual means he is stress free. When a third issue comes in and he is not able to handle it effectively, it means he is under stress. So the level of stress should be such that it motivates the person and not troubles him. So what is essential is we should be able to identify where our level of stress ends and where our level of stress begins. So stress management formation is within us only. If we feel that another extra work would lead us to stress, then we are supposed to keep it aside and handle what is existing or presenting with us. Next, how to manage stress. Are you all able to hear? Hello? Hello? Yeah, because there's some disturbance outside. They're bursting crackers. Okay. So let me keep going. How to manage stress in a better manner. First step to manage your stress in a better manner is figure out where the stress is coming from. Consider what you can control and work on that. Do what you love. Pick out the negotiable from your plate. Realize there is a difference between worrying and carrying. Create a toolbox of techniques. Are you leaving yourself extra vulnerable to stress? Preserve good boundaries. Manage your time well. Embrace mistakes, or at least don't drown in perfectionism. These are some of the ways stress could be managed better. Now, first point to say is figure out where the stress is coming from is each individual himself or herself is the right person who can decide where or what is it that is causing stress in him. Second, consider what you can control and what work on that. Now, there could be stress intrinsic as well as extrinsic. Now, the extrinsic stress causes or stressors could not be controlled by you because it is out of control. But what is within your control? Consider that first and start working on that. Do what you like. You may like to listen to music, you may like to dance, you may like to do gardening, you may like to do cooking, you may like various other things. What are your hobbies? What is it that keeps you more happy? Start working upon that. Do what you love. Because the negotiable from your plate. Negotiable is what is possible by you, what you are capable of, what are your abilities. Take them alone and start working upon them. Realize there's a difference between worrying and caring. Now, when you are keeping on worrying, that would only lead to more of negative thoughts in you and it would become more stressful. Whether you are caring will lead you to more positivity within yourself, identifying your own strengths and weaknesses and working upon your strengths will start becoming a way of managing your stress in a better manner. Now, put a toolbox of techniques. Are you leaving yourself extra vulnerable to stress? Some of us in the organization or an office atmosphere are unable to be assertive. Whatever might be the situation, if any work has been given to you, you start taking it, and you tend to realize that you are under pressure only after you have crossed the limit. So don't go to that limit. Instead, you should be able to say whether you are vulnerable to stress, whether you are getting into the cycle of stress because of the environment and people around you. Now, preserve good boundaries. Good boundaries like people who would be more uh, involving yourself or helping yourself, being more supportive and developing good networking conditions will be more better. Just a minute, I am getting a call. I'll just attend 1 second. Ma'am, good evening, ma'am. Hello, ma'am.
How are you?
I am very fine, ma'am.
Fine, very good. Any idea of planning to come to college any of these days?
Yes, ma'am. 17th, 18th, you have Vajanti ma'am has
Oh, yeah,
spoken to.
audit. Okay.
I'll be
Get my
fine.
audit.
I'll be fine.
Okay, okay. Okay, then, actually, you know anybody in the university that is staff working, not teaching, that non-teaching, or director distance education?
Director level, I don't know. I know an admin person in PhD section.
That is in the regular, is it?
Yes.
Okay. I want one help. That is my classmates, my friends, second son. He did his UG.
Okay.
Distance mode, Loyola first year பண்ணிட்டு அதுக்கப்புறம் second and third year he finished in distance education. He is now going to study somewhere in UK or somewhere. Okay. So they want one consolidated mark sheet, but they said it seems for distance students they don't give a consolidated mark sheet.
Okay.
Okay. So if he will show the originals and one format he has. These are the mark center in the printed, in which they want the director's signature.
Okay.
So can you ask this person to help, or is he in such a position that he can go and ask?
I will check
or
and I'll check
can
and let
he,
you know.
who has to do it? Now, whatever I have, I'll send it to you.
Okay.
See who can ask him who can do it. Actually, long back when I was a student, my classmate, when she went, there was one section which will convert the marks into percentage.
Okay.
Because we used to get grades, they will convert into percentage. There was a section. I don't know now. It's years since I've gone that side, so I have nobody I know. So I thought in case. So I'll send you whatever she has sent.
Okay, ma'am.
Just find out who can do it in the section, and if he is so very helpful and all that, if he can help.
Okay.
Or at least he can put us on to
somebody who can help you.
I'm asking Kalyani, please help me. And if he can put us to somebody, that candidate can get help like that.
Ma'am, you have to unmute yourself.
Dr. Kalyani ma'am, can you unmute yourself, ma'am?
Actually, ma'am, you have the
Kalyani ma'am, can you unmute yourself, ma'am?
Shia, ma'am, to unmute her speaker.
No, sir. Actually, I cannot unmute. I can only request someone to unmute them.
It seems yours is as host, and let me check in my end. I'm sorry.
Dr. Kalyani ma'am, kindly unmute yourself, ma'am.
Yeah, now you are able to hear? Hello?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you, ma'am.
Okay, okay. I'll do this thing. Are you able to see my screen also?
No, ma'am, we cannot see you.
You're not able to see my screen? Just a minute. Now you are able to see my screen? Hello?
Yes, ma'am, we can see your screen now, ma'am. Like
Okay.
the presentation, not the PPT, ma'am.
Okay.
It's that, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, now we
Now?
can see your screen. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So how to manage stress better, we were discussing about it. So if we can identify our own strengths and weaknesses and try to enhance our strengths, we will be in a better position to manage stress in a better manner. So manage your time well. If you can manage your time well, suppose you have say 4 to 5 activities or schedule or commitments, if you can prioritize for yourself which is the most important one, which needs to be handled first and which needs to be handled next, then you will be able to get rid of your stress in a better manner. Encourage mistakes. Don't drown into perfectionism. Being human beings, we are likely to make mistakes. So making mistakes is nothing wrong, is one what you need to put in your mind and see that being perfectionist is not our cup of tea. Everybody cannot be a perfectionist. Definitely there is going to be something which is going to be uh, a mistake or some kind of imbalances could happen in among ourselves. And when we make those mistakes, we are supposed to accept them and try to see how we can rectify them rather than thinking about how perfect we need to be. Right? So these are some of the ways you could handle stress. Now, what is resilience? Resilience is again a coping strategy or a technique to overcome stress, and it is one of the most important uh, techniques. So, what is resilience? Resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks and overcome hardship. Now, when we say resilience in this pandemic situation, we are all undergoing lot of stress, and some of us are not able to come back or come out of this stress where it is becoming more piling up and piling up and piling up. So, resilience is one of the things that we should learn. We should learn into ourselves in order to bounce back and come out of the hardship. Hardships are not for one or two, but it is quite common. All of us are undergoing hardship in one or the other form. So, the definition of resilience is the capacity to deal successfully with the obstacles in the road that confronts us while maintaining a straight and true path towards life. Now, each one of us have our own life goals. Some of us want to set up a good family. Some of us want to build a house. One of us want to buy a car or do certain things. So each of us have our own path towards our life goals. Now, because of the pandemic, some of our life path goals are being shattered. Now, if you ask the 12th standard students, they will say that because of the pandemic, their higher education aspirations have been distorted. If you ask the people who have completed their courses and are likely to get into their career, future life and path, they say that because of the pandemic, our life has been lost. I had a very big ambition of going abroad and doing my courses and coming back and settling down in India and working for the Indians. A big dream of mine is being shattered because of this. And they all find it very difficult to come out of it, for which resilience is very, very, very essential. Now, there are various types of resiliences. Like, first, to be resilient, you need to have a can do attitude. Now, focus on action. Attitude to life, like what I was just giving you the example. People have lot of aspirations, and because of the pandemic, the aspirations are being lost or broken. So they feel that I'm worthless, I'm nowhere, I'm not capable of doing things, I will not be able to achieve my goals as I was wanting to. So instead of having that, first thing they need to do is in their life, they need to focus on actions which they can do. It is not that only one path we should have in our life or one goal we should have in our life, but we can always have alternatives to do certain things to achieve our goal. So, what is it that we can do should be their attitude to life rather than I cannot do. The second thing essential element of resilience is emotional awareness. Be aware of your emotions and try to communicate in a good manner to see how your emotions can be handled in a better manner. Don't keep repressing your emotions, but emotions to be communicated in a better manner or in a suitable way is more essential. Then control of self or your responses to circumstances and organizational ability. Now, most of us, because of the stress, we tend to speak out something which we might not which it might not be appropriate for the current situation. So, in order to be more appropriate or calm and cool and emotionally aware, we need to know how to control ourselves. Then we need to have a social support network of friends or family. In the pandemic, yes, though we keep talking about social distancing and other things, people have stopped moving out and they are not having good relationship with their own relatives or friends. Instead, if we can have a good social support, strong network of our friends and family, definitely that would let us get rid of our stress in a more smooth manner. Then sense of humor, yeah, it's very easy to say sense of humor. Can you laugh at life frustrations? When you are in a frustrated situation or when you are in depression, when you are under stress, it's quite difficult to laugh. But if you can develop sense of humor and keep yourself happy, develop a positive attitude, then that would be more effective and supportive for your stress management. Then self-belief, confidence, and have high self-esteem is another element of resilience. Ability to solve problems and willingness to adapt or be flexible. Yes, the current situation is such that most of them have even lost their jobs and careers, where they start feeling more depressed and stressed. Instead of doing that, there is definitely a way out. We need to identify our strengths and weaknesses and enhance our strengths, and at the same time, we should have a broad mind to be more adaptive to the current situation rather than looking backward or comparing ourselves to the past and not moving further. To be more resilient, we need to be only here and now rather than looking backward. And the last point of strength is optimism. Focus on your strengths rather than your weaknesses is essential. Now, the resilience strategies. One thing is clarify your purpose and meaning. If the meaning to your life goals are set, then you will be able to find your path. Deepen your connectivity, that is, have better relationship with all your friends and relatives. Then practice positivity. Positivity, most of the time we are more prone to have spiritual or spiral kind of negative thoughts. But the positivity, practicing positivity within us is very essential in order to get rid of this stress. Then moderate your stress level. It is you who know which is the strength that is more within you. You have to enhance that in order to cope with this stress. And then manage emotions and reframe thinking. Reframe thinking is, as I was talking to you, there are a lot of negative thoughts which keeps on coming into us. We need to reframe it to positivity. Develop affirmatives, develop good attitude, good thoughts in you. Keep encouraging yourself, say positivity within yourself. I am good, forgive others, and be happy. All these kind of positivity need to be brought into your self by reframing your thinking process. Then it would lead to resilience. And there are other resilience strategies, like some of them are again overlapping, like clarify purpose. So what is is what is my life goal? What should I do? How should I build myself? What is it that I need to be aware of? What are the skills that are within me that I should be aware of in order to achieve my goals? Enhance the self-caring skills, then actualize strengths, broaden your coping skills, and strengthen support networks in order to be more resilient. So when we start thinking in these terms, there are certain specific skills that we need to give more importance to, and some of the resilience skills are focus on what you can control, not what is out of your control. Now, when you start focusing on things what you can control, automatically you start reducing your stress level. Don't ruminate on events that can't be changed. That is, don't keep brooding over things which have happened and which cannot be changed. Rather, start thinking and focusing on things that are within your control and which can be changed, which are out of your control, which is in the environment or which is in somebody else's uh, border limit. You cannot make any changes. There is no point in thinking over it or focusing. Instead, you can focus on your own self and see what you can control. Use events as learning experiences. Now, most of the time, we say that this pandemic has ruined my life. Instead, why don't you start thinking positively and say that because of the pandemic, I could learn so many new things. The very fact of the webinar sessions, which were not existing before the pandemic, has become a learning experience for all of us because of the pandemic. So that develops a positivity within you. The classroom atmosphere of not within the four walls but through online classes we are able to reach not only the people who are of 20, 30 members in the class, but we are able to reach throughout the world either. So that's taking it the other way. Use events because of the pandemic. I have learned that I can reach to the world through my webinar sessions, right? Then alter your perceptions, limit the hostility factors, strive for goodness, not for perfection. Yes, goodness and perfection are two different things. Perfection will always lead to stress, and nobody can be perfect. No man is either perfect. Goodness, yes, definitely you can do good to people and people can be happy, made happy and kept happy. But perfectionism, expecting perfectionism itself can be a very big cause for yourself. So don't expect perfectionism, but time for goodness. Then develop compassion, develop connection. Connections is very essential because one or the other person, if you could share your feelings, if you could speak to them, automatically you tend to reduce your stress more than 50%. So develop connections, develop people who can listen to you, who can care for you, who can be with you and be supportive and encouraging you is more essential. Learn to live in the present rather than in the past or the future and accept the good as well as bad. Neither will last forever. The present corona situation, though we keep saying that there's going to be three layers or waves of corona that's going to happen and we need to face all of these things. But remember one thing, whether it is good or bad, it is not going to last forever. Everything has its own speculated time limit where it would start and where it would end. It is though unknown to us, but still it is for sure that it's not going to be with us forever. So keeping these things in your mind, I would like to um, thank once again the organizers for this good opportunity on stress management and resilience amongst the participants who are with me. So thank you, and any questions, please? Thank you. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for that excellent presentation on stress
Welcome.
management and also the how resilience plays an important role. Thank you so much for explaining us, and definitely during this pandemic, it is quite essential for all of us. So, participants, if you have any questions, you could put in the chat box or unmute yourself and ask questions. Ma'am, there is a question. How
Yeah.
having resilience can help you manage your stress?
How having resilience can help you manage?
Your stress.
Yeah. Resilience is bouncing back. It's nothing but once you have stress, you should be able to come out of stress. So resilience is the uh, attitude or your mindset to come out of the stress. Now, one of the way is you engage yourself in some positivity or you engage yourself in any kind of work or job that is more interesting to you or a thing which could make you happy, right? So the resilience is nothing but the power within you. You should be able to realize and analyze for yourself, understand the strengths within you which will help you. For example, during the pandemic situation, they were showing that some of them have identified their artistic skills. They were able to prepare very beautiful artistic, what to say, the aesthetic sense of decorative items, and people were able to sell their products in a online mode and make their livelihood, which is nothing but a resilience. You are able to come out of your stress by identifying your strength. So that is very essential. Another small thing I would tell, like innovation is another kind of resilience. A person who is uh, been working throughout the period and because of the corona, all of a sudden we are all locked into the four walls of our house. We were all stressed very badly. how we are not able to move out, we are not able to earn and do things. But the very sense of identifying your creativity skill has made you fight back or bounce back to the stress, stressing situation, and you were able to produce something new. There are people who have started making small creative art things which have not only brought in some income for them, but at the same time it has become like a therapy for them, a treatment process. Instead of getting and looking into only the stress into you, you are now able to look into the positive aspects of your life and dealing with it more effectively. Is it fine? Anybody else, Gemma?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for answering that question. Yes. So, any other questions from the participants? So, ma'am, can you please? Yes, there are feedbacks coming in. Excellent presentation. Thank you for great session. Yes, thank you. Yes,
Thank you.
thank you, ma'am.
Thanks.
Participants, you can note ma'am's email ID and contact details. If you have any queries, you can send to ma'am, or you could write to us. And now I call upon Dr. Salim to please place vote of thanks for today's expert.
Thank you, Veena ma'am, for giving this nice opportunity to do thanks today on the beautiful session on the topic of stress management resilience by Dr. Kalyan ma'am. It was a very nice session, ma'am. The combination of stress management resilience, he gave a lot of tips about how to manage the stress, like figure out where the stress is coming from, and considering what we can control and what are the things we can do and we have to learn. There is so many points you give it us, and you rightly talked about like the strategies. There are a lot of strategies to you hold. If you purpose and deepen connections, practice connections, moderate stress, all those things. And finally, each focus what you can control and altering our perception and developing connection, because it will be a very eye-opening session to coming back of setbacks actually. So we learned a lot today's session, ma'am. It was a wonderful session, and kindly accept our gratitude on behalf of American College Madurai and the MS Chellamuthi Institute Madurai and Madras Plus Social Work Chennai and Sector Association Turkey and Red Educational Psychology Center Madurai. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all the participants.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Dr. Veena.
Yes, thank you, Kalani ma'am, for that excellent presentation, and thank you, Dr. Salim sir. And participants, kindly send your queries and feedback to my webinar feedback@gmail.com. We will meet tomorrow with yet another wonderful session. Thank you. Good night.
Yeah, thank you and happy Diwali again to all of you. Thank you. See you
Yes.
all. Bye bye.
Happy Diwali to all. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.